Hi writers, how are you? I was super excited to read all your responses that you wrote for possible topic ideas for our whole group speech that we can write about. Your choices were more magazines in the library, uniform free dress day, 3-day weekend, and of course, longer recess, okay? So quite a few responses. The most popular ones, I would say like the ones that most students wanted overall was probably the uniform free dress day, and the 3-day weekend came in pretty close. And then right after that was longer time for recess. And then the last thing was the magazines in the library, more magazines in the library. So today, to teach you how to take those ideas and put them into an actual writing piece, Ms. Fakori is going to break it down into small steps, okay? So I'm going to show you in the next video, I'm going to show you what our teaching point is, and then I'm going to show you some strategies to work through figuring out how to pick the best reasons. Because if I just show you what Ms. Fakori did, I took all of your topics all of the reasons for your topics, and I made a big list for each topic of all the reasons that you guys gave. Look at that list. Huge, right? So we don't want to give and we don't want to include all of those reasons in our writing, okay? We want to practice today how to pick the most important. I don't want to say important, maybe that's not the right word. I want to say the most convincing, because that's our goal with persuasive writing, the most convincing reasons, keeping our audience in mind. So I'm going to show you how to kind of skim through the choices of your reasons and see and pick which ones would be the most convincing, okay? So let's move on to step number 2. See you in a bit. Hi, my friends. Okay, and welcome back. So the second part of our lesson today is to go through our teaching point. What is Ms. Fakori going to teach you how to do today as a writer? So today, writers, I want to teach you that speech writing is a kind of opinion writing, okay? The writer gives an opinion, a thesis statement. This goes back to our literary essay, that big, bold opinion, that's a thesis statement. And then gives reasons, details, and examples that help support that opinion, okay? Now here's the tricky part as a writer. Choosing reasons that will convince your audience. That's why Ms. Fakori told you last time that you need to keep your audience in mind. Whose mind are you trying to convince about your opinion, okay? So how do we do that as writers? We need to weigh, okay, and really think about which reasons would be especially convincing to your audience. So always keep your audience in mind. So let's practice that for a little bit before we actually start writing our first draft. Okay, here we go, my friends. So the very first thing in deciding which reasons would be especially convincing to your audience is keeping your audience in mind. Who is the person that is going to see this, and whose mind do you need to change? So I went ahead and picked 3-day weekend as the topic that we would write a speech for together today. And so our audience for that would probably most likely be, besides your teachers, the number one person who would okay this would be Mrs. Bjorklund, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and write that down so that I keep her in mind as I'm looking through to see which ones really matter. So as I read through all these great reasons, because they're all great, okay, I want to see which one is really the most convincing. Week is too long. Would Mrs. Bjorklund want to hear that the week is too long? Does that really matter to her? Probably not the most convincing. So I'm going to go ahead and put an X there, okay? Some people just need a break. Okay, I think she might get that some people just need a little time out and they need time to unwind, but we need to explain that. If we're going to pick this one, then we have to explain it with details and examples, if you remember from my teaching point. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe put like a little mark here just to show, hey, I'm going to keep that in mind. More time to relax, definitely a good idea. We do need more time to relax, but again, I would have to explain in my writing why that's important. I can't just say to Mrs. Bjorklund, I need more time to relax. She's going to want to know why that's important to you. So keeping the question of why in mind is also important. It's good to see your family for longer, more time with family. I agree, okay? It is good. And Mrs. Bjorklund loves her family and loves to see that you're spending time with family. So that will matter. So I'm going to go ahead and put a mark there, but I need to keep in mind that I need to add on to that. 2 days go by too fast. You know what? I agree. They do go by too fast. But why would that matter to Mrs. Bjorklund? We'd also have to explain that. Okay? Maybe we can explain it by saying the first day is just catch up, and the second day is just running around and trying to make soccer games and family groceries and things like that. So we need one more day just to really spend it with family. That might convince her. So adding on to that, we work hard all week. I think that's a good one we can work on because she knows that we work hard all week during school. Kids don't like school. Would Mrs. Bjorklund like to hear that or feel like that's something that's going to really help push to change her mind? Probably not, okay? So we don't want to include that one. This one was clever. I like this response. Allows us to travel and learn more about other countries. We can talk about how we learn so much through our global studies and how it helps us learn about other places. So having a 3-day weekend will give us more time to travel. I like that. We can definitely expand on that. Need time to de-stress. Yes, my friend, we do. And just chill out, okay? Again, we have to explain, though, in our writing, why is that important? Explain to Mrs. Bjorklund why de-stressing is a good thing to do. Teachers have more time to prepare for us. Thank you for thinking of us teachers. I think this is also true because if we have more time, then we have more time to bring some great lessons to you and then even more time with our own families, right? And then school is boring. What do you say to this one? You're right. Probably not the most convincing. Okay, so now I have all these reasons that I get to pick from. So now it's a matter of which one speaks to my heart the most that I want to include and that I can, let's look back at our teaching point, that not only I can include as reasons, but I also can add on with some details and some examples that support why that reason is important. So Miss Fakori, I wish you guys were here to help me pick, but you're not. So I'm going to go ahead and pick for you, okay, on things that would probably matter to me, to my heart. This would probably be something that I can talk more about. Seeing family. And knowing Mrs. Bjorklund, I know that's really big for her too. So I know I can add on to that and really make that reason a little bit stronger. Another one that just I loved when I read was this one. Allows us to travel and learn more about other countries. A lot of you know Miss Fakori taught in other countries before coming back to Florida, so that speaks to my heart, and I know I can add on a lot of details and I can add on a lot of examples to show why that's important for us as young learners and young citizens, right? Okay, so those are the two I'm going to start with. And now I'm going to show you how I take those first two ideas and now write more about them because I'm not just listing. My goal is to convince Mrs. Bjorklund. So you ready to try that next part with me? Let's go, my friends. Here we go. Now the writing part. Okay, my friends. So now the actual writing part. So remember our teaching point. The writer gives an opinion, a thesis statement. Your thesis statement is your big, bold opinion, which in our case is that we should have 3-day weekends. Then not only gives the reasons that you listed, but also gives details and examples that support that opinion because we want to convince our audience. Here we go. So watch how Miss Fakori took the first reason that she took from her list about family. Remember Miss Fakori highlighted that? So here's what I wrote. We should have 3-day weekends because it's good to see your family for longer and have more time with them. Think about it. So this is me adding on and explaining with those details and examples. Think about it. We are all so busy during the week that we don't get any quality time with family. Every day after school and even work for our parents, all we do is keep going with homework and after school sports or activities. Sometimes we don't even have time for family dinners. Isn't that crazy? Family time is important since they are the ones who love you and will always be there for you the most in life. Okay, I think Mrs. Bjorklund would appreciate reading that, and that might get her mind turning a bit. I need to give my kiddos maybe a 3-day weekend. But now that's only our first reason. Let's add on to our second reason about that one about the countries, visiting other countries, having more time to visit other places. Let's look at this and look how Miss Fakori added on. So in pink is my original reason, but now I'm adding on in blue right here. So not only am I saying family time is important since they are the ones who love you and will always be there for you the most in life. Now I'm adding on and I'm saying we also need more time to do things to help us grow than just going to school. Did you know you can learn lots from other countries? We can learn geography and all about their culture. For example, so this is Miss Fakori taking from that teaching point, giving my own example. When I would visit other countries like Zanzibar or South Africa, I was able to learn more about the people and how they live. It helped me appreciate others. Having 3-day weekends allows us more time to travel and learn more about other countries. So do you see how Ms. Fakori told more about each reason? Okay, so first I picked the reasons that matter to me and that would matter to Mrs. Bjorklund, and then I talked more about them. So here's what you're going to do today, writers, okay? Now you're going to take everything we just did to help you draft your own speech today. You're going to have some choices. Like always, Ms. Fakori likes to give you choices. So on a piece of paper or in a Google Doc, just take about 20 minutes and write up a storm here, okay? Write from the heart the ideas that matter to you. You can even set your timer on the slide if you want. Here are your two choices. You can copy our class idea and continue to talk about the 3-day weekend, since a lot of you did pick that as your choice anyway, and finish it off with your own next reason and explanation, okay? Or if your topic was not chosen today and it still really matters to you, go ahead and pick that topic. It's okay. You can write your own from start to finish if you really wanted to, okay? Pick that topic that you originally chose that was not 3-day weekend that Ms. Fakori did not write about. The goal today, writers, is just to practice writing a speech on your own using convincing reasons, details, and examples of your own, okay? So 1, think of your audience. 2, think what matters to them. 3, just start writing. All right, writers? Off you go. I'm really excited to read what you write. So make sure if it's not in a Google Doc, make sure you're taking a picture and you're posting it onto Seesaw.